Hi everybody, this is Josh with Josh Wright Piano TV. Today I'll just be talking about networking. I feel like this is just as critical as talent in a musician's life. If you're wanting to pursue music, you need to be just as good of a networker as you are a pianist, or better. You see a lot of people who aren't that talented, who have millions of hits on YouTube, who are getting paid a lot of money for concerts, and a lot of them admit, hey, I'm not that talented, but I know how to be a good businessman. And they're making a lot more money than some of us are as, you know, hardcore classically trained musicians or jazz musicians or whatever you want to call it. And I've really worked hard. I've read lots of books on this subject, and I want to share some of the insights about how you can go about starting to get good at networking, starting to get a studio built up if you'd like, starting to get a studio of accompanying built up, so people that you accompany, and then starting to get concerts. Concerts are by far the hardest things that I've experienced to get, and to get good paying concerts. That takes some time and dedication and just building your reputation up. But getting students isn't that hard, and getting people to accompany, if you're pretty good at sight reading or you are trying to get some work in that field, is quite easy actually. And I just want to start with a bunch of basics of networking. I've written them down here, and they're in no particular order. The first thing, make business cards. That is just so easy. And these days it's like, do you really need a business card? Everyone has their phones, you can just send them your contact info, but it really is more professional. They can put it in. Sometimes people save your business cards. I've had people call me up saying, can I hire you to do an in-home piano concert? I grabbed the business card from your last concert that you did. I didn't meet you there, but I grabbed your business card. That's a person I'd never even spoken to before. They were just in the audience, grabbed a business card, and then I did a private concert for them. It's amazing how little things make a huge difference. That was income I had that I wouldn't have had otherwise if I hadn't printed those business cards. That's the first thing I would do. The second thing is you can always ask for referrals, whether you are doing private in-home concerts, whether you're doing public concerts, whether you're trying to build up your studio. I'll focus on the studio for this one, just so everyone can get a real life example. I had a really cute little student that I was teaching, these two little brothers, two little students, and the mom said, you know, I'd love for you to teach more of my neighbors, but they probably would be more prone to taking from you if they heard you play, because we really enjoy hearing you play. So I said, sure, and she said, would you be willing to do a little concert at our church just for the youth night? And I said, absolutely. And so she got up and announced and said, Josh is currently accepting new students into his studio. If you're interested, talk to him afterwards. He's been teaching my two little boys and they're doing really well. I got like 10 students that night. I'm not saying things like that are regular. That was an exception, but I was 16 years old, and that like boosted my studio into like, oh, I'm almost full, whereas I'm like, I have just a few students, and then I went to almost full just in one night. That won't always happen, but if people know that you are teaching lessons and they know that you would be willing to teach them, they're much more likely to take from you, and you can earn income that way. You can also do the same with concerts. You can organize benefit concerts and say 50% of the proceeds go to breast cancer awareness, or go towards helping research this medical thing, or 50% pays for my humanitarian trip to Zimbabwe, or whatever it is. You can make very appealing things through donating part or all of your concert towards charity. Other ways of working, of getting more work, whether it's students, concerts, or accompanying jobs, is to work through piano teachers and also to work through the schools. One great way to get a lot of awareness is to go play like assemblies at public schools and private schools. That's a really great market, and then you can hang some flyers around the school if you're wanting to teach piano, or you can email like the Music Teachers Association list if you're a member of that, and you can email all the teachers and say, I'm a new teacher, I'm trying to get started. If you have any students that you just can't take on, would you mind referring them? My rates are this or that, and you can tell also ask them what they are charging, and kind of get a feel for what you should charge. If someone is charging, if the median rate is $50 an hour and you come in at $80 an hour, it's not going to work. If the median rate is, you know, $75 an hour for your level of education, and you go in and charge $150, that'll be bad. But if you also charge $30 an hour, that will also look bad, like you're not taking yourself seriously. You want to find the correct price for what you're doing. And if you're really desperate for work, you can lower that a little bit, and if you're just crammed full, you can actually raise your prices a little bit. So keep in mind those market values. Another thing is to get yourself as visible as possible on the web. So I know I'm not a genius at this, but I am making strides to get better at it. So with all these YouTube videos, I'm fairly visible on YouTube for piano lessons. I know I'm not like the hit wonder million view person, but I have that, and then I've tried to build a nice personal Facebook page that I just use, that I can keep in contact with a big group of people, and then also my musicians page where people from all over can just go in and like that. Another thing that I've tried to do is getting good at Twitter. I have about 4,000 followers right now, and I know it's not a lot in comparison to these other people who have millions, but it's a start, and I know that these things take time. People, as musicians, get very frustrated when things don't work out quickly. I notice that's a musician's mentality a lot of times. I've observed in some of my friends, I've observed it in myself, members of my family that are also musicians, and it's something you have to be very patient with. Things will come if you're putting enough. Imagine a big pipe, and you're just stuffing it full, just like a PVC pipe, and you're stuffing it full of stuff. Like, this is your networking. You got your business cards, you got your referrals, you've got Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, all this stuff, and you keep working, and those keep growing and growing. Pretty soon, stuff will start coming at the other end. Like, you'll start getting production at the other end. But if you just put one little thing in at a time, it's just kind of gonna drip out the other end. You're not gonna really have things. So try to flood every avenue you can, and then you'll start getting work, and then you can whittle it down to what you like to do. See, I don't love to accompany as much as I love to teach. I can usually get paid a little bit more to teach as well than I can accompany, and so I tend to go more towards teaching. But at times when I've been very low in teaching, where I've had to either drop students or they've quit or I moved, sometimes I'll really bolster up my accompanying people, and then as I get more students, I can whittle down the people that I don't necessarily enjoy accompanying, or the people who aren't paying you as much. Really, I'm trying to get across the point of how you can survive as a musician, because there is plenty of work out there, especially for pianists. You just have to be creative in the ways you find it. Let's see. One thing you can do is make a cheap recording. Not cheap in the quality, but just inexpensive to make. Go to your local university, and they probably have a concert hall that you can record in, and you can say, I'm a student, is there any way we could work out a low price for me just to record a few pieces? I'm using it for various things, including a promo CD and maybe a competition application, and people are usually okay to work with you on those types of things. And even if you have a promo CD with 3 to 5 tracks on it, if you get it well designed, CDs are not that expensive to duplicate. If you do 1,000, they're usually about $1 a piece for really good packaging and stuff. Hire a good designer. Especially at colleges, you can find really good designers who are needing to build their portfolio. Sometimes they'll even do it for you for free. And if anyone needs a good designer, email me. My friend Neil Wallace is just amazing. He's not even a graphic designer for his degree. He does other stuff, but he's designed a lot of my CDs, and they're just really well designed. Do everything in a super professional quality, but do it in an inexpensive way. Be creative about how to cut costs when you're doing that, because you're trying to just get some product that people can hold in their hands, that they can take home. You can sell them for $5. You've made a huge profit. If it's $1 and you're selling it for $5, you just made a $4 profit per CD. If you're selling them for $15, you've made $14 profit. So there's money to be had through selling CDs, but mostly it's just getting your name out there. What are some things you definitely want to put on that CD cover art? Well, obviously you'd want to put your website, if you've built a website, which you should. You'd want to put your email address, something like that, to get people able to contact you. A couple other little things are creating an email list. Just organize your email list and create a mailing list within Gmail or Hotmail or whatever email you're using, so you can quickly send out updates for concerts or teaching or whatever you need to do. Always be professional with instantly replying to people. Try and do it same day or the next day. There's nothing worse than someone sending you an email and you replying a month later. And I know that's happened to a couple people from my YouTube channels. I'll set aside a question because I'll think about it and then I'll be like, oh my gosh, I'll review the emails a month later. Most people I try to respond within 2 or 3 days because sometimes the emails pile up. And then the last thing I wanted to say, there's a really great company called Square. It's good for musicians who aren't selling like millions of dollars worth of merchandise. So I might do a couple concerts a month, and what Square is it's just a little card reader. I know PayPal has this type of thing too, but you just plug it into the top of your phone, and then you can swipe people's cards. It encrypts it, so it's not like saving their credit card info to your phone, and they can pay with a credit card. And I was just like, oh, that sounds like a cool idea. That would be nice to have in case people don't have cash. It's amazing. 1/3 of all of my current CD sales at concerts, it's about 1/3, is cash. So I've tripled my merchandise sales by using that little card reader. So just, I would look into that if you've made that CD to sell, even if it's $5, that card reader, they only take like 3% out of each dollar. So like they take 3 cents on the dollar. It's totally worth it. So if you have any questions about that, you can visit their website. These are just some basics on networking, but I feel networking is so important. Be creative. Do something innovative. I tried to be innovative with this piano TV series. I know a lot of people have done piano videos, but it's something that people can send in requests to, and so I tried to be very specific with these videos so that people can get into the mind of a classical musician who's performing a lot and teaching a lot. So try to figure out something that you can do that's innovative and new. There's nothing worse than someone just being a copycat exactly of someone else's idea, but there's also nothing wrong with taking an idea and tweaking it a little bit to make it your own and to put a different spin on it. So these are just some random thoughts from my mind. So I hope you enjoyed it. My email, if you have questions or would like to audition for private online lessons through Skype, my email is josh@joshwrightpiano.com. Thanks so much for joining me today.